Hello and welcome. Haiku just released their major Beta 3 milestone. We're going to look at it now. Some of you may remember BeOS, a rare commercial alternative to Linux and Macintosh in the 1990s. I have some nostalgia for it and was sad to see it go away around 2001. The good news is out of the ashes rose Haiku, an open source successor with full binary and functional compatibility. Let's boot up a VM and check out Beta 3. Alright, let's boot up. And there we go. So let's click Try Out Haiku. Let's right-click on the desk bar. And let's go to Preferences and Appearance. Let's move the plain font to 16 points, the bold font as well, the fixed font, and the menu font. All 16, so you guys can see more clearly. Next, let's change the screen resolution. Let's go to Preferences, Screen, and let's make this 1920 by 1080 and hit Apply. That looks good. So we go ahead and close that. Let's double click on the installer. So you got some important information here. This is definitely beta, so you want to consider just using a VM for now. So you've got a user guide and a quick tour to look at. Let's click Continue. No partitions have been found that are suitable for installation. So it wants us to set up a partition first to install to. So, and it needs to be a B file system, by the way. Okay. It also shows some optional packages. Yeah, I got the build utilities and development packages. That's great. So we'll include those. I've got the virtual file system set up, so let's format it to the B file system, which is a 64-bit journaling file system with Haiku query support, which is good for searching your system. Let's go ahead and write the changes, and our install partition has been formatted. We'll click OK. So we close that. Now we can choose our 4 GB install partition, Haiku. That looks good. All the optional packages are included. All right, it's done. System's already installed. So let's quit. Let's go ahead and right-click on the desk bar on the top right screen. And let's restart the system. And it's restarting. And it's back up. It's generating the SSH keys because it has SSH service running. Very handy for development purposes. Let's right-click on the desk bar. So we've got About Haiku. And yep, we're running Beta 3. The kernel is from July 22nd. So we've got some updates to do probably. So let's right-click. Got Mount, Desktop, Desk Bar, Preferences. There's the shutdown, recent documents, recent folders, recent applications. There's our application list. Let's launch Software Updater. So it's checking for updates. And it found some updates. 28 packages, to be exact. The Haiku system itself, a bunch of user guides in different languages. Welcome documentation, Makefile engine, Web Positive, that's the web browser. So let's go ahead and update the system. Updates are completed, so now we need to reboot. And Haiku is back up already. Very fast system. Let's check the networking configuration here. Let's open network preferences. So, yep, DHCP is the correct IP address. There's a DNS settings. It's connected to my VM bridge. SSH server is running. So you've got the IP address if you want to SSH remote into this machine. Very nice. Let's right click on the desk bar. Let's launch the GLTpot classic BeOS demo. That's here in Haiku as well. Make it a little bigger. So that teapot is spinning at around 300 frames per second. Very nice. Let's launch the Mandelbrot demo. That's another classic. Let's zoom in here. All right. That works very well. Let's change the palette to lightning. Oh, that's nice. Very nice fractal set there. Cool. Let's right click on the desk bar. Let's launch Activity Monitor. And there it is. With these two demos running, we have 400 megabytes of RAM used. This is the replicant, that little hand on the bottom right. It's kind of hard to see. So you drag it out, and you've got your replicant running on the desktop. So used memory is around 400 megabytes, as I said, and it shows the 4-core CPU usage. So let me close these two demos. And there we go, settles down to 335 megabytes. Let's drag that replicant to the top right, and let's leave it there. So we can watch how much RAM Haiku is using, which is very little, as you guys can see. Let's go to time preferences. Clock, network time, usual suspects are here, so let's synchronize. Let's close that. The time is accurate. Let's double click on Haiku, which is our main disk or drive. So we've got home and system. Home is for the single user. This is a single user system. And here we have the user's config, user's desktop, and user's mail folders. If I hold down the Win key or the Mod key and drag it over, you can see I can tab it. I can join the two windows via tab. And let me just open up the config directory and hold the Win key. And you can also stack these folders, so you can move them all together. So you can create your own visualized configuration. This is the settings folder that can remain separate. Has all the user settings in there. And you can unstack it and untab. And remove the tabbing this way just by using that Mod key. Just hold down the Mod key. So I strongly suggest you guys play with it when you get a chance. Very cool feature. This is what's in system. So you've got the kernel. Everything is really super small and tidy. That's Haiku for you. Let's close these windows and let's launch bbook, which is a web-positive web browsing page. And let's make this a little bigger. Move this through. So we've got the system overview with all the kits and also the classes and methods. This is for development, developing applications, developing device drivers, working with a desk bar. And let's click on the application kit. So it gives you a full documentation on how to develop for Haiku. Since Haiku depends on applications to remain relevant, right? So they need that. So yeah, some code snippets here. Very nice. Looks like it's thoroughly documented. Great for getting started with Haiku development. All right, what do we have? A user guide. So here's our user guide. Let's make this a little bigger and use mod equals to, or alt equals rather, to make this bigger. Yeah, so it walks through the Haiku GUI, the desk bar that we've used already, the tracker. You can see in the top right, it's tracker and web positive running, so you can track what applications are open and consuming resources. Got a whole bunch of apps it walks through, recommended applications, workspaces. You can have, we won't go through this today, but you can set up multiple workspaces with Haiku. Team monitor, we'll look at that in a bit. Desktop applets. How to query. As you remember, we formatted the B file system with the query option so we can search our system. Our system is fully searchable via database. Indexing to be able to search. Got also a file system layout. So here's the team monitor. I hit Control-Alt-Delete. So let's quit web positive. You can also Control-Alt-Delete for 4 seconds to reboot. Let's open the terminal. Let's make this a lot bigger. Let's make the font a little bit bigger. Again, with the Alt and equals. It's a little different. Not Control like with Linux, but Alt. Here's our shell. It's running Haiku Shredder, and the revision, the new kernel that we just updated is today's date, July 28th. Python 3 is available, as well as GCC that we saw earlier. Help. Okay, so it looks like we got full Python 3. Let's quit out of help and Control D out of the Python interpreter. Let's clear the screen. And that's with Control L, by the way. GCC-V shows 8.3.0, so relatively modern version of GCC available for development. So you've got the full development stack here on Haiku. How convenient. Right-click on desk bar. Let's open up the software depot, Haiku Depot, they call it. Let's look at the various featured packages. QEMU, Calibra, LibreOffice, Telegram, VLC player, VMware add-ons, Arduino, Audacious, a whole bunch of things here. Handbrake, some games, video players, emulators, Vim, Wireshark, very nice. There's Quake 2 game. All right, so let's install Calligra. I typed Calligra in the search bar. And there it is. It's highly rated. So let's install the Calligra suite. So it has to install a whole bunch of packages, including the KDE stack, since Calligra is a KDE application. So a whole bunch of packages that will pull in. Lots to download, so this will take some time. Let's apply changes and start the downloading phase. And it's almost done. There we go. The Calligra suite has been installed. Let's right-click on the desk bar and launch. Well, that's Carbon, Sheets, Stage, like a presentation, I guess, and Words. Let's launch Words. There we go. A nice KDE app. Let's double-click here on Professional Letter. Okay, well, seems to work. To whom it may concern. Blah, blah, blah. All right, there's our letter. It's got a whole bunch of features here. Calligra is really nice, actually, considering. I still prefer LibreOffice. Okay. Which we could have installed, by the way. Let's launch the Web Positive browser. It boots, it starts up rather, to the documentation user guide. Let's make it a little bigger. And let's click on the home page. That goes to www.haikuos.org. And this is the 7th public release that we're running here. So they're hoping to attract new developers to the project and hopefully give a lot of people, a chance to check out Haiku. And yeah, this is the 3rd beta release, as they say, and it includes all the major features planned for the final release. Still has bugs and a few rough edges. We didn't see too many, actually. At least I didn't. You guys might have. Maybe some graphical glitches, but that's just because of the VM. But other than that, very nice. I think they did a great job so far. Haiku has grown tremendously since it began almost 20 years ago, and I continue to watch its progress in the future. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please consider liking and subscribing. Until next time.